you deal with your professionalism, with your competence, and with your authority. And what's happened basically suggests that presidential authority is collapsed and is being undermined from within the executive arm. Forget the National Assembly for the moment. What has happened in this nomination suggests that President Buhari's authority is being undermined from within the executive arm, and that's got to be addressed.
Now, can the president represent Mr. Magu a third time?
The question really, for the people advising the president, keep presenting Mr. Magu and keep presenting him until the Senate falls over. I think there are a few things that they've got to consider. Number one is Mr. Magu is a police officer, and he's a relatively young police officer. He is assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner. He's still got a long way to go. Do we love him enough to want to destroy, or do we dislike him enough to want to destroy his police career? Because we want to score a political debating point. That's number one. Number two is the president has got political capital to spend, and his political capital has run out. He's now in political capital overdraft. And when you go into political capital overdraft, you pay a lot of political APR. Okay? The interest rate you pay on political overdraft is huge. How much political interest rate is the president prepared to spend on this particular nominee with the possible likelihood that he is not going to get anywhere? What are the other priorities that the president has got to spend his political authority on, and why does he want to waste all of it on this particular matter? And so the people reading law, the detritus of law upside down and inside out, have got to understand that this is a political matter. And that really, for me, is the bigger issue at stake. How much presidential authority would anybody want to spend on this?
Before I allow you to go enjoy your evening, do tell us, as it stands now, the scorecard of Mr. Magu, and some people will say is perhaps the best candidate for the job, considering his antecedent and the fact that he has worked with some of the anti-graft agency bosses, that spearheaded that agency. What would you make of what achievement Mr. Magu has made, and the fact that his own record as a person, does it worth the president spending his political capital, just like you put it?
I'm not a spokesperson for anybody involved in this. Not the Senate, not Mr. Magu, not the president, not anybody. Okay? Now, I don't know what Mr. Magu's record is. He had the opportunity before the Senate to speak to his record. And I think the best advertisement for him is what he put up before the Senate. And I think people are entitled to make up their minds on that, one way or the other. But I do think that people should bring an open mind to this. Sadly, we're in a political system, in a hyper-political system, and senators are political animals. There are lots of things that play on their minds, and you probably have seen a lot of stories flying about as to what their motive was or what the cause of their animus is. The fact of the matter is, you are not going to expect senators to roll over and die just because the president has set up a candidate for nomination. Sadly, since President Obasanjo, the EFCC has become a high salience political institution. It is not supposed to be that. It is supposed to do something that is exceptionally very important to the sustenance of the Nigerian state.
Okay.
That's not the case anymore.
All right.
It's now high politics.
Professor Chidi Odinkalu, former chairman, the National Human Rights Commission. Many thanks for talking to us this evening.
You're welcome.
And let's move on now to some other issues. It's almost 2 years since the Buhari government took power, and the several promises the party made and are re-echoing in the heads of many Nigerians as the government enters into a reasonable half of its tenure. Are they on track on some of the campaign promises, plus some of the promise contained in the party's manifesto? Take a listen to some of the atmosphere I would like to remind you of, for some of you who followed the campaigns of the APC in 2014 and 2015. Take a listen now.
Our main problem is a vicious circle of insecurity, lack of job, and corruption. The APC is determined to break this vicious circle.
The government of APC will attack head-on the security and the economy. APC government will look for competent, committed Nigerians to lead ministries and parastatals so that we can make rapid development. We'll try and improve employment so that the youth, the able-bodied, can get jobs. The easiest way to do it is power. If there is enough constant power, people will engage in legitimate businesses.
Of course, you will remember those sound bites at the campaigns of the APC, and the man at the forefront is still at the forefront of governance in Nigeria. Let me remind you what the APC has in its manifesto. In terms of power, the APC says that the APC government shall vigorously pursue the expansion of electricity generation and distribution of up to 40,000 megawatts in 4 to 8 years. And what we're doing tonight, as we've started last week on Channels Television, is to take on the promises of the APC and infrastructure tonight. We will be looking into power, works, and housing, and my guest will be dissecting this matter, but we go for a short break. When we return, it's on to that matter. First, the minister will tell us the scorecard of this government, and my guest will be doing justice on this matter. Join us again.